Hi, welcome to Rope Flow 101. I'm Chin and I'm super excited to be your Rope Flow coach and have you along in this journey as you try out this new practice of Rope Flow. I want to talk about a few things because I want to make sure that you have the right expectation going into this activity. So first of all, as you look and try to learn Rope Flow, you'll come across many different tutorial videos, many different coaches. You'll notice that you will see different videos where people are flowing in very different ways. I would say at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong way when it comes to rope flowing. Everyone has their own style. Some people do it with more martial intent where they're looking a bit more aggressive, kind of like punchy, a lot of throwing movements. You have some people flowing very gracefully where it's more like opening your body up, flowing with the rope. And at the end of the day, it's all up to personal style. So find a way that really resonates with you, find a way that you enjoy. As long as you're moving better, you're feeling better after every session, you are making progress and you are living a healthier lifestyle. So that is really my goal with you, to become more mindful, more aware of your body, to encourage you to move a bit more and try out some of these movements. So don't worry about getting things perfect. Don't worry is my style right? Am I doing it correctly? At the end of the day, if you are moving, you are making progress. The second thing I want to talk about is how rope flow will make you feel. One thing that I really enjoy about rope flow is that unlike some weight training related exercises, you will find that with weight training, with running, with sprinting, with cardio, I'm not saying that those exercises are bad, but generally because you're pushing yourself so much, exerting yourself, at the end of the exercise you tend to feel worse than when you started out. Nothing wrong with that. No pain, no gain. You do have to go through, some damage to your muscle. You do have to get your body used to some impact to build bone density as well. But what I really like about rope flow is it's a practice where generally you go at your own pace. And the best part is you feel better at the end of it than when you began, right? So it's kind of like stretching. You feel better after stretching than before you started stretching. So the same applies to flowing with the rope. So go at your own pace. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to be super intensive. You can go nice and slow, and you can find a cadence that your body is used to and comfortable with. And more importantly, don't push yourself beyond your limits, right? Make sure you are moving in ways that you're comfortable with. If you have mobility issues with your shoulder, with your back, don't force yourself to do too many twists or turns or contort yourself in ways that might end up hurting yourself. It's a gradual practice that helps you unlock more movement as you start to move those joints a bit more. You don't have to force yourself. Point number 3 that I want to touch on is how much time should you put into this? For busy people like even myself, or probably you if you're watching the video, you're finding that you're balancing work, maybe even family, and maybe your own existing exercise routine. Do I need to spend hours and hours in rope flow to get good? First of all, the short answer and the good answer is no, you don't have to spend a lot of time on this. Really about 5-10 minutes a day, as long as you're doing it every day, you will see very immediate benefits. And what I really like to use rope flow for is, personally, I do it at about every day. I like to do it before my workouts for some dynamic stretching and movement, just to warm up my joints. It's also great as a cool down activity after your workout as well. So if you're already at the gym, if you're already lifting weights, I definitely encourage you to try picking up the rope and flowing with it, because when you are doing weight training, you'll notice that a lot of the movements, it really encourages you to have good form. It's good to have good form, but everything you tend to do tends to lock your body in a position, right? You tend to be lifting up and down, right? You tend to be doing different movements, but you're always very static in a single plane, either moving up and down or front and back. And with rope flow, you're actually engaging your spine and encouraging your stabilizer muscles to move around a bit more, and it helps develop the core strength that you will tend to use a bit more in daily life. So whether it's running, whether it's picking up things when you get older, if you only focus on building that neutral position in your spine, it is good for lifting heavy stuff, but then you don't want to grow old and have the situation where you bend down and pick something and I cracked my back kind of thing, right? So make sure that by actually teaching your body how to move safely, comfortably, it allows you to still have those ranges of motion and be able to do those things as you get older. So that being said, although there is no right or wrong way to flow, there are a few foundational things to be mindful of, because the more you're aware of these core elements, the better your flow game will be. So the first thing that you want to be mindful of is understanding counter rotation. So the goal with rope flow and a lot of these movements that you'll get into with rotational training is you want to get your body used to the natural kind of movement that we have when we're walking, right? When we walk, our left foot comes forward, right hand comes forward, right? So it's left foot, right shoulder. So typically that's how we move when we run, when we walk, when we are doing a throw, our right shoulder comes to our left foot. When we do a swing, our right shoulder comes over the left as well, like when you swing like this. So that's kind of the natural movement that we have in our body. You don't typically want to have like this kind of same foot, same shoulder type of movement, because you don't get as much strength in it. You know, if I'm doing a bowl like this versus like this, I get more energy. I can coil up a bit more, twist my body a bit more this way. If I'm doing it this way, I have a limited range of motion. Make sense? So how does counter rotation apply in the rope? When you're learning certain skills and when you're flowing, you want to make sure that you try your best to counter rotate, because some moves will be easier to do with the same side out. Let's say with the overhand sneak, it's easier to have your left foot forward, to have the rope come over on your left side like this. But you don't get as much rotation, so you want to have your right foot forward instead and have your body twist this way, right? If you're doing it on the left side. Do you see the difference? Same with the dragon roll. When you're doing the dragon roll, if you do a dragon switch or the dragon hop, what most people will do is, I'll step a bit back, as they go like this, like this. It's not wrong, but you don't get as much counter rotation in the movement. So what you want to do is you do it this way. You have the opposite leg come forward instead. Not only does it look a bit better, you get a bit more engagement with your core muscles. The next one to pay attention to is where you are looking. As most people start to learn, they tend to follow the rope with their eyes and they tend to look at where the rope is going all the time. You want to try to have a static gaze. So look at an object somewhere far away, and you don't turn and twist your head all the time and follow the rope all the time. That is just a bit of both looking a bit better, because you do look a bit messy when you're just following the rope all the time, versus, you know, if you have that static gaze, your head isn't going all over the place, right? So keep your eyes forward, keep your eyes looking at an object, whether it's here, whether it's there, and you'll find that it helps improve how you look like and how you feel when you flow as well. You tend to have better balance because you're not looking all over the place and twisting your field of view. Besides that, you also want to be more mindful of your posture. So generally, I think all of us know that we tend to have bad habits when it comes to posture. Are you straight up? Are you hunching? Are you tending to have a loose back and loose arms? Or are you being a bit more confident? Open up yourself, get your chest up. Make sure you try and do that when you do some of your movements. So when you start to become a bit better, focus less on having those hands do the work and make sure that your body is doing that work. And the nice thing about rope flow is you're going nice and slow. You don't have to go fast. And the best part about going slow is it allows you to be more mindful and more aware of how your body is moving in relation to the rope and correct the things that you notice. Coming from jump rope, the biggest thing I notice is with jump rope, you're going so fast, and generally you tend to force yourself into certain movements. Like let's say if I'm jumping and then I'm doing a side swing, I'm not really thinking like which hand is crossing over first, is this hand further out than the other hand, which hand is rotating over. I don't think about all those things when I jump rope. But when you flow, you're going slower and you're like, okay, if my hand is not switching positions, If one hand is further out than the other, the rope is getting caught on it, the rope will teach you very quickly if you're doing the wrong moves. So that's what I really like about rope flow, is that because you're going slower, you tend to become and build more awareness about your body and about how you move through space in relation with the rope. Another tip that I think some of you will really like is pay attention to your legs and how you shift balance when you flow, not just your hands. Because when you use your hands, if you just flow with your hands and your legs are straight and unmoving, it's not very engaging, but you don't get to also twist your body around as much. So wear something that is comfortable. The biggest difference I noticed is I started wearing barefoot shoes, and with barefoot shoes, I tend to feel the ground a bit more. I'm grounded. I can notice the movements in the balls of my feet. Am I using my toes a bit more versus when I use those nice cushy shoes that I have for running and walking, right? Cushion shoes, not a bad thing. They're good if you're on your feet for a long time, if you're going to be doing a lot of high impact stuff. But when you have barefoot shoes, you really engage and notice how you step and move around a bit more. So wear something that you're comfortable moving in. Have your knees loose. Don't keep them straight. And pay attention to how you shift your weight as your rope moves from one side to the other, right? Shifting more weight on one leg versus the other leg. And this is big, especially for us folks who are getting a bit older. And I'm a bit shameful to say this, I'm only 37. But one big problem that seniors will get, and I'll say this because this was part of my research when I was in psychology, is older people tend to fall a lot more. Not only because of their attention, but also because they tend to lose their ability to balance their body as much, because we don't tend to practice movements that engage ourselves in balancing as much anymore. So when you shift your weight around, when you lift your leg as you flow, right? If you do things like this, or if you do lunges, you'll tend to be able to practice those engaging muscles that help you stabilize your body, and you become more aware of how you shift your weight, how you move through space. You also want to avoid having slack in your rope or having your rope become nice and soft like this. Slack in the rope will happen when you do certain moves, like let's say with the wrap, but even with the wrap, your rope is generally fairly tight or taut. And I may be mispronouncing it because I do have an accent and I do come from Malaysia, but generally what I find is you tend to flow better when your rope is nice and tight, when there is that firmness to it and there's not too much slack like this, right? And the key thing to understand is slack does not come from speed. So I see some people try to do fast flows because they find that if they're going too slowly, they get that slack. Slack comes from timing, not speed, right? You can go slowly and you can still have a nice tight rope like this. It's all about when do you pull the rope back, when do you swing it, and that creates the nice tension on the rope, not the speed, right? So go slow, because when you go slow, when you start, you will build up the technique to master the moves so that when you go fast, you will be able to do it much better. It's more refined, and you're moving your body in the right way. Related to what I just said, when you go slower, you can really focus more on that fluidity, not only fluidity with the movement, having the right posture, moving your body, not just your hands, but also the transitions as you go from one move to another, right? When you are going too fast, you will tend to force yourself to do certain things just to get in that position. But when you go slower, you can really take the time to do things properly. So going from overhand to underhand, going into a wrap, doing things like a sneak. Don't rush things. Take it slow, and that's where you get to build that nice smoothness in movement so that when you do want to go fast, you are able to do so without messing up as much. So I do still skip and I do still lift weights. Again, rope flow is not a substitute for those. If you're looking to build muscle mass, build strength, you still want to make sure that you're lifting weights If you're looking to build endurance, you still want to do your treadmills, your running. If you're looking to build bone density, coordination, endurance, definitely continue to jump rope. As a matter of fact, I love to jump with my rope flow too. But you want to work in some flow because it gets your body moving. It allows you to unlock that spinal engine, as David Weck says, and you can really flow and move your body around, become more aware. And I really love it because it's not just the physical aspect of things, but also the mental piece as well, where it's so meditative, so relaxing. And if you're really struggling and getting frustrated while you're learning, it happens to everyone. When we try something new, be it swimming, riding a bike, we all get frustrated. We're trying something new. And our body takes a while to get used to it. So a few tips and a few things that I really like. Number one, view it like a game. I find like flowing rope and learning these moves, but also with skipping rope as well, you're unlocking new moves. It's kind of like leveling up. When your character is level 1, you're weak as shit. You're not going to be able to do a lot of stuff, and monsters are going to, walk all over you. That's totally okay. You're not trying to be a level 99 player on day 1. So view your progression like a game. You're unlocking new things, and as you unlock new things, you get new skills, new weapons, and new movements. Second thing is, if you find that you're getting frustrated learning a specific move, even if you're spending hours on it, let yourself rest, take a break. There's this great episode on Radiolab called Sleep, and it just really talks about how when we sleep, our brain actually helps us learn better. It's a bit of both forgetting and tuning out all the noise that we have in the day, but also reinforcing the connections that we build as we learn new movements, as we train ourselves on new patterns, new things, and as our body starts to remember how it used to move again. The biggest part is, like I learned in psychology, when we are born, we have the most amount of neural connections, and we actually learn not only by forming new connections, but by pruning old connections that we don't need. And what happens as we grow older is we tend to forget a lot of skills that we have as we were younger because we no longer use those connections anymore. We no longer move, we no longer rotate, we no longer spin around, we no longer shift our weight and balance as much. So as you are starting to relearn how to do all these things with the rope, it's totally okay to be a bit frustrated, but give yourself some time, take a break, and sleep on it, and you will really find the next day when you wake up, oh my goodness, I can do certain things again. Like I'm still trying to unlock the mic release, and every day I'm noticing that my timing is getting slightly better. So I kind of caught it there. Not really the best, but again, I'm sure that when I sleep on it, I'll get a bit better.